out, and Arlie will keep an eye out to let him back in as soon as he comes. Meanwhile, I should tell a story, I think. So
that would be wonderful.
Well, let's do something, a really short one, in case Donald comes in, and we'll do the old woman and the pig, because everyone knows the old woman and the pig, and it's got a no, there's Donald's back, fantastic. So, are you okay, Donald? Well, I'm just going to do the old woman and the pig that last 2 minutes. That'll give you a chance to get your breath back.
Lovely.
Right. A long time ago, there was an old woman. And this is from way back in time when my hair was dark and my beard was ginger and all my teeth were yellow. And she had a silver coin and she lost it. She hunted all round. You know, Louis, when you lose that little piece of money and it's really annoying and you look for it everywhere. She found it down the back of the sofa. And she went to market, she bought a pig. She was walking home with the pig when she came to a fence. The only way across the fence was across a stile. The old woman got over it, but the pig would not. So she went to the dog. She went, dog, dog, bite, pig, pig. You won't get over the stile. Shan't get home tonight, dog wouldn't. So she went to the stick. She went, stick, stick, beat, dog, dog, won't bite, pig, pig. You won't get over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight. Stick wouldn't. So she went to the fire. She went, fire, fire, burn, stick, stick, won't beat, dog, dog, won't bite, pig, pig. You won't get over stile, shan't get home tonight. Fire wouldn't. She went to water, 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 quench, fire, fire, won't burn, stick, stick, won't beat, dog, dog, won't bite, pig, pig. You won't get over stile, shan't get home tonight. Water wouldn't. She went to the ox, big fella, horn sticking out of his head. Went, ox, ox, drink water, water, won't quench, fire, fire, won't burn, stick, stick, won't beat, dog, dog, won't bite, pig, pig. You won't get over stile, shan't get home tonight. Ox wouldn't. She went to the butcher. She would. Butch, butch, kill ox, ox, one drink water, water, one quench, fire, fire, one burn, stick, stick, one beat, dog, dog, one bite, pig, pig. You won't get over style, shan't get home tonight. Butch wouldn't. So she went to the rope. She would. Rope, rope, pain, butch, butch, one kill ox, ox, one drink water, water, one quench, fire, fire, one burn, stick, stick, one beat, dog, dog, one bite, pig, pig. You won't get over style, shan't get home tonight. Rope wouldn't. She went to the rat. Rat, rat, no rope, rope, one down, butch, butch, one kill, ox, ox, one drink water, water, one quench, fire, fire, one burn, stick, stick, one beat, dog, dog, one bite, pig, pig. You won't get over style, shan't get home tonight. Rat wouldn't. She went to the cat. You went, cat, cat, catch, rat, rat, one, no rope, rope, one time, butch, butch, one kill, ox, ox, one drink water, water, one quench, fire, fire, one burn, stick, stick, one beat, dog, dog, one bite, pig, pig. You won't get over style, shan't get home tonight. Cat went, all right, all right, all right. Go to the cow, get me a saucer of milk, I'll catch you. Catch a rat. She went to the cow. She said, look, I haven't got time to explain. I've got to get to the end of this story. Donald is waiting to tell. Just give me a saucer of milk. Fine, said the cow. Go to the haystack and get me an armful of hay. She went to the haystack. Fortunately, haystacks can't speak. She just grabbed an armful of hay, and you all know what happened then. She gave the armful of hay to the cow. Cow gave her a saucer of milk. She gave the saucer of milk to the cat. Now, keep up with me, everyone. You can just mouth it. Cat began to catch the rat, rat began to gnaw the rope, rope began to hang the butch, butch began to kill the ox, ox began to drink the water, water began to quench fire, fire began to burn the stick, stick began to beat the dog, dog began to bite the pig, pig. He was so frightened, he got straight over the stile, and the old woman, she got home that night. Donald,
yes,
currently known as Suzanne,
yeah, well, that's
great. Donald Acker Suzanne is. Have you got a tale for us? You disappeared. You fell off the virtual highway, but you got back on your bicycle and you came to us. Fantastic. Yeah. So Donald Nelson. So once more, a big round of applause for Donald Nelson.
Thank you. Hey. Well, I'm sorry about that. I got my computer repaired today and got it home, and it's just died again. So it's got to go back tomorrow. Anyway, that's always been your emergency story, John. Right, I'll start my stories because I'm a bit late. Now, I'm not going to sing tonight. Did I hear a cheer going up there? I'm not going to sing tonight because I've got a bit, excuse me, a bit of a chest infection. So I might start to cough, but don't worry about me. Nobody else does. Oh. Anyway, this story is about a woodcutter. And this woodcutter lived in a little cottage next to the woods with his wife. And they were very poor. Oh, they were much poorer than that. Oh. And because, well, you don't get much money for firewood. And the woodcutter would go out every day and he would cut as much wood as he could and he would take it to the market and he would sell it for as high a price as he could get, but it still wasn't much. Well, one day, the woodcutter went into the wood and he went to a part of the wood he'd never been to before. And as he walked along, he noticed a tree, as you would in the wood. He noticed a tree, and it was a huge tree, and it was dead. And he thought to himself, wow, look at all that wood, that firewood. If I cut that down, then chop it up, then I'll be able to take it to market and I'll get even more money than I've ever had before. Well, he took out his axe and he made sure it was nice and sharp, and he swung his axe back and he swung it forward as hard as he could, and it hit the tree and it went ching. And he thought, that's strange. And he took his axe again and he swung it back and he swung it forward, ching. Trees don't usually make that noise. So he took a walk round the tree, and on the other side was a hole, and he noticed the tree was hollow. And the hole was big enough to put his head in. So he put his head in the hole and he noticed a sack. And he put his hand in the hole and he grabbed the sack and he pulled it out, and it was quite heavy. And he put it on the ground and he opened it up, and the sack was full of gold coins. Wow, I'm rich, he said. Oh, I can't wait to tell my wife that. Oh dear, there was a problem there, because the woodcutter's wife could not keep a secret. She had to tell everybody everything about everything. There was another problem. The wood was owned by the king, and this king was a very cruel and jealous and greedy king. And the woodcutter knew that if he had found some coins in the king's forest and the king found out about it, the king would just take it off him. Even though he had millions and millions of pounds, he would still take the money. So the woodcutter thought, what am I going to do about my wife? And what am I going to do about the king? And then he had an idea. He started to walk home. And on his way home, he came to a bush. And he looked in the bush. And he'd set a trap in the bush. And there in the trap was a rabbit. So he picked the rabbit up out of the trap and put it in his bag. And then he walked a bit further and he came to the river. And he pulled a net in that he'd cast into the river the day before. And then there was a beautiful salmon, a huge big salmon. And he put that in his bag. And he took the rabbit out of the bag and he put it into the net and he threw it back in the water. And then he went back to the bush and he put the salmon in the trap. And then he walked home. And when he got home, he said, honey, I'm home. And his wife said, oh, hello, dear. Did you have a good day? He said, yes, a pretty good day, but I'm really, really hungry. She said, oh, I'll make you something to eat. What would you like? And he said, I would like some pancakes. She said, okay, how many do you want? And he said, 10. Well, she said, 10, that's a lot, but she made him 10 pancakes, and she took them out and put them on the table, and then she went back to the kitchen. And the woodcutter ate one pancake and put the other 9 in his bag. And his wife came out the kitchen and said, "You finished all those pancakes already?" And he said, "Yes, I'm really, really hungry still. Can I have another 10 pancakes, please?" Well, his wife said, "Okay, if that's what you want." And she went back to the kitchen and she made 10 more pancakes and brought them out. And she went back to the kitchen. And the woodcutter ate one pancake and put the other 9 in his bag. And his wife went out the kitchen and she said, "Oh, you must be full now." And he said, "Well, actually, no, I'm still really hungry. Can I have another 10 pancakes, please?" And his wife said, "Oh, okay then." And she went to the kitchen and she made another 10 pancakes and brought them out. And then she went back to the kitchen and the woodcutter ate one and put the other 9 in his bag. And then his wife came out with her dinner and sat down. And the woodcutter said to his wife, because that's what woodcutters call wives in stories, "Wife, I have something to tell you. I found something in the woods today, and I want you to come with me tomorrow, and I'll show you it." Well, his wife said, "Oh, I can't wait. Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is." No, said the woodcutter. "Tomorrow you can come to the woods with me and I'll show you what it is." Well, the woodcutter's wife did not sleep a wink that night. And in the morning, she was up early and she said to her husband, "Oh, come on, quick, get ready. I want to see what the surprise is you've got for me in the woods." Well, the woodcutter got ready and he picked up his bag and he picked up his axe and they started walking through the woods. And when they were walking down the path, the woodcutter said to his wife, "Would you excuse me for a minute? I've just got to go and do something." And she said, "Okay." He said, "Well, just you wait right here." So the woodcutter went into the bushes and down another little path, further down, and he came to a tree. It had quite low branches, and he took the pancakes from his bag and he hung them on the tree one by one, 27 pancakes on the tree. And then he came back to his wife and he said, "Oh, it's fine. I was just checking something there. Let's go." And as they're walking down, he said, "You know, we came out in such a rush this morning, didn't have any breakfast, and I'm so hungry." And his wife said, "Oh no, we came out in such a rush this morning, I forgot to make a packed lunch." Well, woodcutter said, "Don't you worry. Just round the bend in the path, there's a pancake tree." And his wife said, "A pancake tree? What's a pancake tree?" He said, "There's a tree round the bend in the path there's pancakes growing on it." She said, "Oh, don't be ridiculous." And he said, "Well, come and see." So they walked down the path, and sure enough, there was a tree in front of them, dripping with pancakes. And the woodcutter took one and started to eat it. And his wife took one and started to eat it. And the woodcutter said to his wife, "They're nice, yeah?" And she said, "Oh, yes, they're nice, but I don't think they're as good as mine." And he said, "Oh, no, dear, they're not as good as yours." And they ate their fill. And the woodcutter said, "Okay, let's go and I'll show you the surprise." So they walked down the path and they came to the river. And the woodcutter said, "Oh, just stop a moment. I've got something to check." And he pulled in the net. And in the net was a rabbit. And the woodcutter's wife said, "Oh, look at that poor wee rabbit. It must have fallen in the river and it's got caught in your net. Oh, what a shame." And the woodcutter said, No. That's a river rabbit." And she said, "A river rabbit?" She said, "Yes, a river rabbit." Excuse me. They live in the river and they use their ears to swim and they can swim really fast. She went, I've never heard of one of them before. And he said, well, you grew up in the city, so maybe that you don't really know our country ways. She went, oh, okay. He said, anyway, let's go. So they walked down the path a bit more and he said, hold on a second, I've just got to check something in this bush. And he looked in the bush, into the trap, and he brought out the salmon. And his wife said, how did that salmon get in that bush? I mean, I know they can leap quite far, but I didn't think they could leap that far. No, 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 said the woodcutter. This is a land salmon. And she said, a land salmon? She said, yes, a land salmon. They walk about with their fins and they can even climb trees. They're very clever, you know. A land salmon. Yeah, I really don't know anything about your country ways. Anyway, they walked down the path and they came to the hollow tree. And the woodcutter said, now, when I show you this, you must promise me, you must never, ever, ever tell anyone what I've got. She said, what? Would I tell anyone anything? Of course I wouldn't. And he said, okay, come and see this. And he took out the bag of gold. And she said, a bag of gold, we're rich, we're rich. And he said, shh. Remember, don't tell anyone. Well, they went home and they took a loose stone from the fireplace in their cottage and they put the bag of gold in and then they put the stone back. And the woodcutter said to his wife, now remember, don't tell a soul. And they started to spend the money, but spent it very, very wisely. Only a little bit at a time because they didn't want anyone to suspect that they'd suddenly got some money. Well, everything was going fine, but the woodcutter's wife could not keep it in. She had to tell somebody. And she would lie awake at night saying, I've got to tell someone, I've got to tell someone. I can't keep this to myself forever. And one day she was out in the garden and the woodcutter was out at work. And the woodcutter's wife saw her best friend Maggie coming by. And she said, Maggie, come here. You're my best friend, Jess. And if I told you something, you wouldn't tell anyone else, would you? And Maggie said, what? I wouldn't tell anyone. So she said, well, we found a bag of gold and told the story of the gold. And the woodcutter's wife said, now remember, Maggie, you must not tell anyone. And she said, don't you worry, I won't. Well, Maggie went away, but she had a best friend. And Maggie wasn't very good at keeping secrets either. So she told her best friend, and she told her best friend not to tell anyone. And her best friend said, what? I wouldn't tell anyone. Of course I wouldn't tell anyone. But the best friend had another best friend, and she told her, and she told him on and on and on until it went right round the village. And one day, one of the maids from the castle was in the butcher's shop, and the butcher said to her, did you hear about the woodcutter finding all that gold? No, I didn't hear anything about that. Yes, apparently the woodcutter and his wife found a big bag of gold in the forest, right in the middle of the deep, dark woods it was. And they've got it in their house. Well, the maid couldn't wait to get back to the palace, to the castle, and tell the butler. And she was in the pantry, and she was telling the butler all about it when one of the king's guards was passing by. And he heard her just saying, "The woodcutter, gold in the woods." They thought, something going on here. Gold in the king's woods. If I tell the king, I might get a reward. So he went and he told the king, and the king said, "What? What do you mean gold in my woods?" And the guard said, "Yes, sire. Apparently, the woodcutter found some gold in your woods. Then bring them here." Well, the guard got some of his men together and they went down to the woodcutter's cottage, and they got the woodcutter and they got his wife and they dragged them back up to the castle. And they put him in front of the king, who was sitting on his big throne. And the king said, "Well, woodcutter, what's all this about you finding gold in my woods?" And the woodcutter said, "I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "It's all round the village. You found gold in my woods. Now, where is it?" Well, the woodcutter said, "Really, sire, I do not have a clue. I don't know what you're talking about." And the king turned to the woodcutter's wife. And the woodcutter's wife was very, very afraid of the king. And the king said, "Well, woodcutter's wife, did you find gold in the forest?" And the woodcutter's wife said, "No. Yes, sire, we did." "Ah, if there's some gold in my forest, there must be more. Now, whereabouts in the forest was it?" And the woodcutter's wife said, I don't know, I've never been in the forest before." And she turned to her husband and said, "Whereabouts in the forest was it?" And he said, I don't know what you're talking about." And the woodcutter's wife said, "Sire, I don't know where it was." And they said, "Well, describe how you got there." And she said, "Well, we left the house and we walked down the path and we came to the pancake tree." And the king said, "The pancake tree?" She said, "Yes, there's a tree in the woods and it grows pancakes and they're absolutely delicious. They're not as good as mine, of course, but they're absolutely delicious." "Pancake trees? Never heard anything like it in my life," said the king. "Now, carry on." So the woodcutter's wife said, "Well, we walked down and down the path and we came to the river. And my husband pulled in a net from the river, and in the net was a river rabbit." And the king said, "A river rabbit? What on earth is a river rabbit?" "Well," said the woodcutter's wife, "a river rabbit is a rabbit that lives in the river. And they swim around with their ears and they can really swim quite fast, you know." And the king said, "Stuff and nonsense. Never heard of a river rabbit." And the woodcutter's wife said, "Oh, you must have grown up in the city just like me then. Anyway, carry on. Well, we walked down the path some more and we came to a bush. And my husband went into the bush and he pulled out a salmon." "A salmon?" "Yes, a land salmon." "And what is a land salmon when it's at home?" said the king. Well, you see, it's a land salmon. It's a salmon that lives on the land and it walks about with its fins. And it can even climb trees. It's very clever, you know." "I've never heard anything like it in my life. Carry on." Well, that's when we went and got the gold. And we got the gold and we walked home and put it in the house. And the king said, "You got the gold?" She said, "Yes, it was in a hollow tree." "Gold in a hollow tree? Land salmon? river rabbits, pancake trees. I've never heard such nonsense in my life. I think you never found any gold at all, and you're just starting rumours. Get out of my sight. And the woodcutter and his wife hurried away back to their cottage. And they took the stone out from the fireplace, and they got the gold, and they put it in their little cart, and they hitched up the little donkey, and they rode away, and they kept going and going and going until they reached the other side of the kingdom, where they bought a lovely house, and they were never, ever, ever poor again. Thank you.
Donald, that was fantastic. I've got to ask Louis, can you hear fireworks outside?
There was one there.
A few.
So are you going to watch a firework display at the weekend?
No. No.
You don't like fireworks?
I don't like it. So I don't like bangs and noises.
That's okay. Now,
I don't like them either.
Now, one of my boys didn't like bangs and noises. I used to take him to fireworks on not a firework night as a treat, and it would be forever just hiding. Yeah, so I quite understand, Louis. So shall we? I tell you what's better than firework night is Donald Nelson telling stories, isn't it? Yeah. So, Donald, have you got another tale for us?
Yes. Well, actually, I have a story. It's a poem that I wrote many years ago, and although I wrote it about 25 years ago, I still can't remember it all. So I've got to have my idiot sheets with me. Okay, and it's about an uncle. Well, I had a few uncles, and some of them would tell the most fantastic stories about what they had done in their lives. And this, sorry, this particular uncle had some great stories, and this is about him. My uncle has a shrunken head in a box below his bed. He keeps it as a souvenir of when he was an engineer upon the railways far away from Chittagong to Mandalay. The story goes, or so I'm told, that when he was young, brave and bold, while speeding down the track one day, he spotted something in the way. He slammed the brakes on, ladies screamed, sparks flew up through clouds of steam, men said, "By God!" and children wailed. The wheels glowed hot upon the rails. The funnel poured out thick black smog. He saw it was a pile of logs placed neatly there to stop the train by bandits bad and quite insane. And when the train was standing still, the bandits poured down from the hill, screaming, cursing, firing guns. My uncle then began to run and shouted out to lock the doors and lie down flat upon the floor. The bandits, now beside the track, suddenly stopped, quite taken aback, for my uncle stood with upheld hands and set a challenge to the band. "I'll fight your biggest man," he said, "a fight till one of us is dead. Should your man win, you kill us all. But I take the train. Should your man fall..." The bandit chief thought for a while. Then his ugly face cracked to a smile. "I have the very man for you. All stand back and let him through." The band of brigands broke their ranks, and at the back a human tank stood 8 feet tall and just as wide. A scimitar hung by his side. A lot of brawn, but not much brain. A ruthless killer all the same. Then a cheer went up when the leader said, When you've been killed, I'll shrink your head. It will be worn in pride of place with others hung around my waist. My uncle's heart beat like a drum. Must find a weapon or I'm done. An overwhelming sense of doom. All he could find was a broom tied onto the guard's van door. He searched, but there was nothing more. The giant drew his sword and laughed. He looked a master of his craft. His swishing sword cut through the air with surprising style and flair. My uncle thought, I'm doomed to die. I may as well give it a try. So he swung the broom and held it aloft. And the nail fell out and the head flew off and it hit the giant to his surprise, right smack bang between the eyes. And to the shock of all around, the giant crashed down to the ground. One single blow upon his head had rendered this Goliath dead. Then a hush descended on the crowd. And then the leaders called out loud, you killed the greatest man I had. There was none so brave and none so bad. One single blow and he was down. So now you must wear his crown. You threatened me, my uncle said, that you would wear my shrunken head. I don't want to wear his crown, but I'll take his head shrunken down. The chief then shouted, cut it off and bring it shrunken in a box. And that's a story Uncle told of when he was young, brave and bold, and how the bandits left the train, never to be seen again. And though he said the head was proof, my auntie once told me the truth. He never fought the giant thief. He's been no further east than Leith. He found the head, my auntie says, down behind a seat one day. For he was a sort of railway man, a conductor on a Glasgow tram. Thank you. It's only coffee.
Oh, well, you got time for another story,
Time for
Donald.
another one. Yes. Okay. Right. Now.
We need Louis' permission, of course.
Oh, yeah. Louis, do I have your permission for another story?
Yes, but I'm going to swimming now. It's getting dark.
Oh,
No.
okay. Right. One very quick one. Okay.
Okay.
One very quick one. There was a frog who lived in a pond. And this frog was never happy. All he did was complain about everything. And in the pond, there also lived 2 ducks. Well, it was a very, very hot summer. It hadn't rained for weeks and weeks and weeks. And the pond was drying up. And the frog said, look at this pond, it's all drying up. What am I going to do? I can't swim anywhere. I can't catch flies because there's no flies, because there's no water. And blah, blah, blah. And the ducks looked at him and they looked at each other. Oh, he's right, you know, they said. The pond's drying up. We're running out of food. I think it's time we left here to find some more water. So that's what they decided to do. And the frog overheard them. And they said, but what about me? What about me? You can't leave me here. You can't leave me all on my own in this dried up pond. What are we going to do? And the duck said, you know, he's right. We can't leave him here. We'll have to take him with us. And they gave a big sigh. But how are we going to do that? Said one of the ducks. Well, he could go on your back for part of the journey, then he could go on my back for the other one. Oh no, I'm not doing that, said the first duck. I don't want that frog on my back talking and talking and talking and talking and talking in my ear. Yeah, you're right, said the second duck. And then he came up with an idea. what we'll do is we'll get a stick, and if you take one end of the stick in your bill, and then I take the other end in my bill, the frog can hold on in the middle, and then we can fly away and take the frog with us. What a great idea. So they got a stick and they told the frog the plan, and the frog held on very, very tightly, and the ducks took a run and they flapped their wings and they were off to find a new pond with some water in it. Well, they hadn't been gone very far when the frog said, "I'll be there yet." And the duck said, "No, we're not there yet. We can't see anything." He had to talk like that because he had a stick in his mouth. "We're not there yet." "Oh no," said the frog, "my arms are getting really tired, and oh, I need to go to the toilet. And oh." I said, "Okay, we'll find something soon, don't worry." And the ducks kept flying. The frog said, "Come on, we must be nearly there yet. You don't see anything. What's that? Moan, and I really need the loo now, and my arms are getting really, really tired. And I'm moaning on." The ducks looked at each other and they decided they would land for a moment. And they came down and down and down, and they landed. And the frog said, "My arms are really tired hanging on to that. And I'm really hungry, and I'm not even there yet." And one duck said, okay, your arms are tired. We'll find something to eat and we'll find a new pond. But what we'll do is, if your arms are so tired, we'll still take the stick in our mouths. Why don't you hold on to the stick with your mouth? Okay then, said the frog. So the ducks grabbed the stick in their mouths and their bills, and the frog took the stick in his mouth, and they set off again. And they were flying and flying and flying. And before too long, the frog said, "Are we there?" Splash. Luckily, they were flying over a river. And the two ducks flew down into the river, and they said to the frog, "You know, that was very lucky for you that you fell into water. It could have been worse." And the moral of that story is, sometimes it's best to know when to keep your mouth shut. Thank you.
And it's a lesson I've never learned, Suzanne.
Yes, I was going to say that when you said your son doesn't like noise. I said, what, living in the same house as you?
Ah, that's why he left home early. Louis, have a good swim. What have we got coming up?
Thank you.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you, Louis. Yeah, we'll get Donald on again in about a month or so, because I don't like him relaxing too much.
Oh no, not allowed.
So what we got goes Sunday. Sunday is our worldwide story round. If you're anyone who wants to tell a story on Sunday, 6 o'clock UK time, hosted by the wonderful Mike Rust. Tuesday, of course, is our young tellers, young international tellers. It's a shame it's the wrong time in the USA, because it's 5 o'clock in the evening, which is right in the middle of school. In fact, Claire, I think you should tell your class there's no school that on Tuesday afternoons. You have to listen to stories and they have to tell stories. And I'll write a note to the principal if you like. Then next Friday, I haven't the faintest idea what's happening, but we will have something next Friday. I just have to organise. What was that, Louis?
I said brilliant for next Friday.
Who do you want next Friday? It's going to be brilliant. whatever it is.
Let me just guess and say Bubba C.
You'd like Bubba C, would you? Yeah. Okay. I'll see if it's available. I'll say by special request of Louis.
Okay.
Fantastic. We make no promises. I make no promises about anything. So, Louis, it's been great to have your company again. Claire, it's been wonderful to have your. Bye-bye. Have a good swim.
Bye-bye.
Lucy,
Oh,
Lucy, it's been great to have your comment.
Donald,
Yeah.
I love your poems and stories. I love the one from the book one and the other one.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
That's all right, Donald. That's all right.
Okay.
I'll see you soon.
Well, with that, and it is perfect. It is 6:44, nearly 3/4 now. A perfect length for a program. All planned out totally, planned in advance.
Yeah.
So
even the computer crashing was planned.
Yeah. So goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
I just have one quick question.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes.
About time. We will change our clocks back on Sunday. Do you do that in the UK also?
Yeah, we did it last Sunday.
Oh, that's why it was different. Because I came in at 1 o'clock and it said, no, not till you have another hour. So I wondered if you had changed already. Okay, perfect.
I made a mistake on Tuesday and I got it wrong as well. So I got it wrong by about 2 hours, but no, I got it wrong by an hour.
So after Sunday, then we'll be back to 5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm on the East Coast, so that'll be perfect.
Yeah. Just check out. I'm having difficulty keeping a world clock in my head. But
well, you do very well.
Right now.
Thanks for your stories, Donald. They were amazing.
Donald, I've got a question for you. Just before you go, sorry. I really enjoyed your poem, and you said you'd written it 25 years ago. Is that right?
Yes, round about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you written poems since then? Because I thought that was really good.
Yes. Well, the next time I'm on, I'll do some more of my poems then.
Yeah.
They're usually funny.
Yeah.
So I think they're funny. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was very, very funny.
It was lovely.
I'm a bit ignorant of this sort of poetry world. Have you published your poems?
I've had poems published in anthologies, but I've not actually had a book of my own poems published. Basically, through laziness.
I think you should. I mean, if any of them are anywhere near as good as that one, I think everyone would love to have a book of your poems.
Oh, well, yes, I might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you sold 2 copies, you sold one to Claire and one to Lucy.
Yeah.
Well, John, I've got lots of your books, so.
Yeah.
Donald, the poem reminded me a little bit of Robert Service. Do you know his poetry?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's good. That's a real compliment. That's...
Well, yeah, it's true. It's very. I thought it was a good combination of cleverness and comedy, and it sort of had a lot of excitement in it and surprise as well. It was it was brilliant. I thought, yeah.
Oh, look, Lucy, be quiet, or else I'll have to book Donald for more things physically. You know, you'll be wanting to come to Cambridge Folk Festival and Glastonbury and places like that.
Why not?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
No, I think Glastonbury's going to happen next year. So you're, yes. Yeah.
Good. Anyway,
well, there you go. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye, folks.
Bye, Louis. Have a good swim.
On next Friday.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye for now. Bye, Donald.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.